What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and baby, let's get into the drama of it all. So, in this video, we're talking about all things Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, let's get into it. So, I want to apologize in advance before doing this video. So, my mic all of a sudden stopped working. So, now I have to find a new piece to get it to work. And I already had set up for this video because some might say, well, why do the video if the mic's not working? Well, I was prepared to do the video today, so we're going to do it today. But again, apologies in advance if the audio sounds funny. So before we get into the Simon and Porsha of it all, because y'all, let's start off with Miss Cynthia Bailey. So Cynthia did an interview with Page Six. I'm gonna read a summary of what she spoke about, but then also play a clip of the actual interview because she said a lot more than what was stated on Twitter. So this is coming from Jay's reality blog, and they said this: hashtag Cynthia Bailey talks her hashtag RHOA return and how hard it was for her to see the show not be in the #1 spot. She goes on to say, I feel like the show has been just okay for the past couple of years. No shade, but it just has. And it has not thrived the way Atlanta has always thrived. We were #1 for so long, and to watch it not be #1 was really hard, even sitting on the sidelines. It really, really was. So I think some new blood was needed, and from what I can tell, these ladies seem to like really have it going on, and I'm excited to meet them. I've always been open to the idea of popping in and out as a friend. I did it last season. My fans loved it. I loved it. Bravo was able to work around my schedule, just letting me get in where I fit in, and they made it known to me that they were interested in me being full-time friend, being a friend in a more official capacity this time. So shouts out to Cynthia. So let me play that clip for you guys.
I feel like, the show has been just okay for the past couple of years. No shade, but it just has. It has not thrived the way that Atlanta has always thrived. We were #1 for so long, and to watch us not be #1 was really hard, even sitting on the sideline. It really, really was. So I think some new blood was needed. And from what I can tell, these ladies seem like they really have it going on, and I'm really excited to meet them.
It's going to be so fun. I feel two of the first biggest shock everybody had when they saw was like, Cynthia's back, we can't wait. And the other one was that Drew's returning, because a lot of people thought that it was kind of almost going to be what they did with New York, where it was just almost all newbies besides Kenya and Porsha. Yeah. But then when we saw, Porsha's coming back too, when we saw Drew sticking around, I was very excited for that too. How are you feeling about Drew returning too?
Because you brought Drew into the group.
Yes.
I did. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yes, I did. I totally did. No, I have a lot going on. But anyway, I was not surprised that Drew was returning. I felt like Drew has a lot of story, and I felt like she carried a lot of last season. So, I think it makes sense to bring Drew back, 100%.
We got Shamea finally getting her peach.
Yes.
Like, that is so exciting. I'm so excited for her. I feel like she's been around this group for so long, and I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah.
First of all, she's stunning. She's funny. Yeah. I feel like with a peach in hand, she might even get a little bit messy. What are your expectations for Shamea?
Well, let me just say, Shamea is a good time, 100%. She has been around the group for years. So I'm excited to see her in a peach holder capacity. She has such amazing story. Everything that's happening with her family, her daughter in particular. I think a lot of fans that have children that have had any serious health issues will definitely resonate with Shamea's story for sure. Like one of the strongest people that I know.
So I'm excited that Cynthia is back, mainly because I am interested to see what kind of role she plays as a full-time friend of, because we did see her last season, but it was very sparingly, and they took out scenes of her that they put in the super trailer. So I'm excited to see what kind of role she plays in the show. I wonder if she's gonna be just the fun time girl where we're just she's just really light and silly, or is she gonna give us Kiki like Cynthia? Because that's one thing about Cynthia. When Cynthia gets activated, she gets activated. she read Phaedra that one season, and we've seen her read Porsha. So, and she's giving it to Kenya at times. So I'm wondering if she's just gonna play it back and just sit in the friend role and just come and have a good time, or if she's actually gonna participate in the mess and in the drama when there is mess and drama. So I'm happy about that. So let's move on to Porsha. So y'all know the last time I did the drama video and we talked about Real Housewives of Atlanta, I told y'all I'm getting tired of them putting so much on social media, and it hasn't stopped. So Porsha did an Amazon Live where she was answering fan questions, and I guess a fan was like, oh, I hope you and Kenya aren't beefing anymore, and she gave her thoughts about that, as well as another fan asked, are any of the ladies married? So let me play this clip for you guys.
You and Kenya have a beautiful relationship. Y'all are really fun to watch together when y'all are friends. You amazing, that dress, and I'm so glad you're back on our RHOA. That is a tongue twister, and I never really realized it was a tongue twister, the RHOA. But yes, thank you. I think she's great. I've been away for 3 years. I don't see any reason why, she's fabulous. She's got her hair salon now. She's doing very, very well. And a beautiful daughter with Brooklyn. So I think that she'll be great. We'll be fine. Melina asked, are the new Atlanta ladies married? Okay, so here's the tea on that. So Angela is married. Angela, I forgot her last name just that fast. What did I say? Oakley. Yes, she is married. Kelly is going through a divorce. And then that's the restaurant person. And then Britt is married as well. And then Shamia is married. Kenya and I are going through divorce. And then who else is there? And Cynthia is single and fabulous. All right. So there's that. And Drew is divorcing as well.
So I'm wondering if production is encouraging the ladies to constantly post about like what's going on, even though they're not heavily into filming. I honestly don't remember them doing this much, and they aren't even heavy into filming. Like, that's wild to me. I'm gonna be completely honest. That is wild to me. Because one, I don't want to know that Kelly is getting a divorce. Like, I want to be surprised, but it makes sense because if you go on her Instagram, all she has posted is her and her kids. So I just thought she was a single parent. Also, it kind of seems like there might be something going on between Drew and Porsha, because I'm like, if Drew and Porsha are supposed to be cool, supposed to be friends, she's always mentioning her like last minute. So either she don't see value in Drew or there's something there, and I kind of see something. But it seems like Porsha and Kenya seem to be having a good time. They posted this video of them filming together where they were like walking down some random street in Atlanta. They look good. They look great. But I don't want to know this. I don't want to know that Shamia just had a birthday party and was gifted a Rolls Royce and y'all jumped in the pool. I want to be surprised because I feel like what's going to happen is what happened that season. I want to say that was season 13 with Bolo Gate, where it's like we all found out about Bolo Gate and it felt like we were only watching the show just to get to that part in the season. And then once they talked about it, once the whole scandal happened, people fell off, and it felt like leading up to that the season was dragging, and then when it happened everyone was all invested, and then after it kind of like the drama of it like died down, it became like the season was dragging again. And I believe that's because we all knew what was leading up to it. And I feel like that's what's going to happen if something big happens on these shows, because I'm like, y'all are telling us too much. Y'all need to go back to the days where y'all didn't really speak about it. Like, case in point, OC. I'm just now hearing about how they're like, OC is really like good this season. We got like that one blurb where it was Tamra and Shannon yelling at each other in London. That's it. That's all we got. We didn't really get like what was going on. Same with Salt Lake City. We got that whole situation that happened between Mary and what's her name? Lisa, but we haven't heard anything else, and I'm hoping right now they're talking a lot, blah blah blah, but then eventually once they get into filming, they'll get dead silent because I want to be surprised. So let's talk about Simon and Porsha. When I tell you they are both getting so annoying, like they are draining, and I probably won't report on them anymore unless it's something like huge and very salacious. But for like the past 3 days, they've been going, well, not really going at it. They went at it on like Monday and Tuesday, and then Simon posted something, I think, on Wednesday to like say his last statement or whatever. But they a lot. They are getting to be a lot. And the funny thing is, I don't think any of this will be shown on the show because Simon pretty much is letting Porsha know, you mention me or anything that's going on, and I'm shutting it down. But let's talk about it. So on Monday, the blogs were posting about Shamea and her birthday, and her husband gifted her a Rolls Royce. So this is what Simon posted underneath Shamea's caption saying, "Congratulations, my good sis, at Shamea Morton. I am so happy for you. My brother Gerald has excellent taste in fine automobile. Look forward to watching the only cast member with an RR, aka a Rolls Royce." So Porsha responded by saying, "Simon, don't forget, a debt-free husband who is a U.S. citizen or citizens. My bestie is winning. Welcome to RHOA Queen Mumbai." So y'all know Simon was trying to be petty because back in 2022, remember, he gifted Porsha a Rolls Royce. But a lot of people said that Rolls Royce was actually the one that he gifted Fallon because they were like, the interior seems to be the same. He just got it painted a different color or something like that. So I guess with them getting a divorce, he took back all his cars and said, "Girl, you don't want to be with me, you don't get this car." That's why you always got to get stuff in your name, people. Always got to get stuff in your name. So Simon then responded with this post that he posted on his Instagram. And he said this: "The benefits to American citizenship are: 1, the right to vote in federal elections and have a say in the democratic process. 2, the ability to travel freely within the U.S., freely with a U.S. passport. 3, access to government benefits and programs such as Social Security and Medicare. 4, eligibility for certain jobs that require U.S. citizenships, such as government positions reserved for U.S. citizens." And then he has, "In my case, as a green card holder, the only limitations I have is the privilege of voting in the U.S. elections and relying on government benefits. Neither one hinders my presence in the United States. I have dedicated my life to striving for financial independence and providing for my family and community." And that is what he, like, the graphic he posted. But then he also captioned it with this statement saying, "I realize there is much information surrounding my impending divorce, and the reoccurring one is about the benefits of a U.S. citizenship versus U.S. permanent residency, which I have been one for 34 years. Hopefully the above brings some educational clarity to the masses." So Simon continued by posting this underneath someone else's comments where he said this: "Despite not holding U.S. citizenship, this immigrant with 34 plus years of an impeccable credit history secured a $7 million home. The property is now inhabited by a U.S. citizen who was once married to me for precisely 453 days. Just imagine that." And here's my thing. They both look goofy to me. They both look goofy. So then Kenya decided to jump into the chat by saying this: "Let me just jump in." She said, "Let me jump in real quick. I have a Rolls Royce, but bought my own years ago. And see, when it's in your name and it's yours, can't nobody take it from you." But this is my thing when it comes to Porsha and Simon. They both are tired and they're both draining because on one hand, there was no need for Simon to kick this up by being petty in Shamia's comments about her gift. Also, Porsha didn't need to respond and make that statement about his citizenship and his debt when it's like, you look dumb to me, because why didn't you know that before you got married to him? Why didn't you know that he wasn't debt free? Why didn't you know he wasn't a citizen? Like when you went on that whole tour about this is my person and we know each other so deeply, you said you knew somebody so deeply, but you didn't know he wasn't a US citizen and he wasn't debt free. You didn't know he was fighting to become a citizen. On top of that, Simon, just because you were able to purchase a $7 million house does not mean, sir, that you're not scamming and you didn't forge documents. A lot of people do that. On top of that, in that court document said that you went by several different aliases. So Simon Guobadia has impeccable credit history and all of this stuff. But what is your real name, Simon? If Simon is your real name. So it's like y'all both again look goofy and tired. Porsha ended up responding to all of this on the following day, where she's in the car, and I think she's actually in the Rolls Royce that everyone thinks that Simon took from her, because the interior is the same. It's that orange and black interior, which is an ugly interior because it makes me think of Halloween. Even though I like Halloween, I don't want to see black and orange every time I get in my car. But she's like vibing to the music, and it looks like that she was on her way to go film with Kenya, because the outfit looks the same. But she's like vibing in the car, kikiing with her tongue all the way out her mouth, listening to Sweetie's Rich Tivities, which I do like that song. That song makes me feel expensive in a t-shirt and some jeans. Okay, Sweetie did something with that one. And so pretty much letting it be known he didn't take the car from her. So then in her Insta story, she posted these two statements where she said, being single and not wanting nobody is a different type of healed. And then she put a laughing emoji. And then she followed that up with saying, I don't have the energy to pretend. And I'm like, okay, Porsha, because just a month ago, you were talking about, Porsha Williams coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's cap. But Porsha Guobadia is in the building. Lego. So were you pretending then? Were you pretending? Obviously. So then Dennis was hopped in the comments of All True Tees, who posted the screenshot of her saying being single and not wanting nobody is a different type of healed. Dennis gonna respond by saying, come home, boo. Dennis is so irritating. He is so irritating. Like, so irritating. He gets on my nerves. So then Porsha responded to him by saying, someone said I healed faster than Wolverine. Y'all must be stopped. And then I guess she was responding to somebody else by saying, you got to keep laughing to keep from crying, babe. Y'all crack me up. So I guess Porsha is saying that ain't nothing Simon got on her, or any petty thing he does is not gonna change the way she's living her life. But I do find it to be extremely funny to me that all of a sudden I don't have the ability to pretend anymore, and I'm so healed. And it's like, you healed this quickly from somebody who you said was your person and you were so deeply in love. I feel like you're aiding in someone making a case that you got married to this person for the wrong reasons. And I feel like they could argue that in court and get that prenup thrown out, girl. So I would lessen how much I talk on the internet about my relationship or this divorce in general. So it seems like Monday was Simon and Porsha beefing about the car. Well, Tuesday was about Simon's homeless children and Porsha filing an emergency, order in order to be able to film Real Housewives of Atlanta in Simon's mansion. So this is coming from the Bravo Shade Room, and they got it from the Neighborhood Talk, and it says, oop, Porsha Williams files an emergency order demanding permission to film RHOA inside Simon Guobadia's mansion. So it goes on to say this, according to @Radar Online, and when I tell you whoever is doing their job of keeping up with Porsha and Simon, it seems like they not playing. Like every other day, they have a story about the court filings and everything. But it says this, according to @Radar Online, when it comes to Porsha Williams leaving Simon Guobadia's Georgia mansion, she's not leaving without a fight, apparently not without filming for RHOA either, #RHOA. According to Radar Online, Porsha filed an emergency order demanding permission to film inside the home despite Simon's legal team demanding the courts restrict her usage. Per the outlet, Porsha was awarded permission and sole exclusive use of the marital residence the last month, telling her she'd be free to use the marital residence as she pleases, including for filming and production purposes. Porsha says filming her day-to-day life inside the mansion is vital to her ability to sustain her income and employment. Simon seemingly admits that he sold 2 of his multi-million-dollar homes to put a down payment on the Georgia mansion, while Porsha gifted her home to her mother so she could move in with her husband Simon. Now that Porsha has filed for divorce, Simon believes that she has no entitlement to the home and that she should move back into the home with her mother currently inhabits. With this information coming out on the blog, Simon decided to take to his Instagram and he posted this. What about Simon's homeless kids? He goes on to caption this picture with this statement. I would like to publicly thank the mothers of my 3 minor children who have stepped up to provide cover over our minor children. He is emphasizing minors really badly. We are into the 3rd month of litigation without proper visitation. These women have played their part as co-parents and are now asked to do more, with the added burden of caring for my children when they are supposed to be in my care. My children are growing and maturing every day and unfortunately do not have the benefit of my presence. Why is that, Simon? Seemingly, everyone wants to focus on everything but what's important in a family, especially when it comes to children and co-parenting. I've had joint physical custody of my children for 5 years. These boys are in my home 2 weeks out of the month. I also have visitation rights with my daughter, who is 11 years old and lives in California. Last minute had to be diverted to Dubai for spring break. She was ultimately out of a home for 3 weeks during spring break. All 3 children currently displaced. I would like each and every one of you, especially those with kids, to pray for me and my family. They deserve consideration as well. So dissecting this statement, first, why don't your kids have your presence? Like, why are you not in your kids' lives? And you're displaced, not your children, especially if you separate custody between their mothers. And you're acting like your daughter was out there homeless, but it seems like she went with you for Dubai for 3 weeks, and y'all were probably staying at someone's house or a hotel. So what is this statement, Simon, other than for you to rile the people up for no reason? So then he was in the comments answering questions. So a person said this, why can't you rent an apartment for yourself? Thank you. And why can't you rent an apartment for yourself and them and have them with their mothers when you have to work overseas? And Simon responded by saying, rent an apartment? What a genius idea. I'm waiting to return to my pots and pans at my blood and sweat home that I worked for in the last 42 years. So I guess Simon is basically saying I paid too much and worked too hard to get the mansion that Porsha is currently in, that Simon is saying that he put most of the money down for me to just buy an apartment. But then again, I'm just looking at Simon like, if you have all this money you claim to have and you're supposed to be this multi-millionaire, then why not just purchase a small apartment or a loft or a condo? And when y'all settle y'all divorce, then if you get the house, and you move right back in. You're making this harder than what it needs to be. He then went on to answer another person's comment that says, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you sign an agreement when you two got married? If so, that was your choice to sign on the dotted line in case of a divorce. You weren't thinking of your children then. That should have never been an option. So then Simon responds to this person by saying, prenups are contractual agreements / contracts subjected to several elements of consideration, including fairness, in order for them to be enforceable. The courts would eventually make that determination of its enforceability of fairness, amongst other things. So I guess he's pretty much saying that is what he's fighting for in court, to see if what they're doing, like what is being enforced, is fair. But I'm also with this person, like, why did you sign a prenup without the consideration of your kids, that if y'all do get a divorce, you would not be able to be in that house with her until y'all figured out what y'all were doing, until the divorce was settled? So another person commented, and he pinned this comment saying, Simon sold his home and Porsha gave her to her mother's. Simon and Porsha purchased this home together right before they got married. That house is as much as hers as it is his. No one has been misplaced. Why do y'all keep saying this? So then Simon responded by saying, sold 2 multi-million-dollar properties and used the proceeds as a down payment, and you believe a marriage that lasted 453 days entitles the other party to equity in the home? Let that happen to your family member, not me. And I can't fault him for that, because I'm thinking about it, if it was me, in the sense of like, we were only married for a year and like several months, and we purchased this house together. If I feel like I put more money into it, then I would feel like I deserve to be in that home, or I deserve to get more of the proceeds when we do sell the home. So I get why he's fighting, but I also feel like this is something you should have thought about beforehand. And him constantly putting on emphasis that we were married for 453 days, it's like, I get it, because ultimately he could be like, yo, we was only married for a year and a couple of months. This is not her home. But it also is annoying that he keeps bringing that up. So he pinned another person's comment who said this: why don't you just rent another house, thank you, in the States? Why did you go all the way to Dubai? And so he responds by saying, some of us have work in different parts of the world, and it is not always around the block from our homes. So I'm wondering, I thought he was in Dubai just to be in Dubai, but I guess Simon says, I'm in Dubai working, trying to hold on to my money. So then another person says, so I thought he was being deported. And so Simon responds to that person with laughing emojis. So I actually agree with that person, that last comment, because I thought Simon was preparing for his deportation. But I guess Simon is like, no, I'm a working girl. I'm over here working. But I don't feel bad for Simon, and I don't feel bad for Porsha. Who I truly feel bad for is the kids, because to get married that quickly, when people get married that quickly, and if we're following their timeline, they only knew each other for a couple of months and decided they were going to mesh their lives together. When you do that and you have kids, you're not thinking about the kids, because you didn't take the time and consideration to figure out how comfortable or how well your family meshed before you got married. So I only feel bad for them that those kids are wrapped up in this fraudulent mess, because Porsha and Simon saw licks in each other. They both thought they were getting a come up. Porsha thought she was marrying a multi-millionaire African man so she could live her African princess fantasy, where she was going back and forth to Nigeria, Dubai, and Costa Rica. And again, I will never understand why she let go of her radio job, and why she let go of, I know why she let go of RHOA, because she was a coward and she didn't want to be held to task about what she did. But to let go of Dish Nation made no sense to me, when on Porsha Family Matters, we actually saw her doing her job while she was in Mexico. And I was like, you are doing a job that you can virtually do anywhere. Why give that up for this man who you don't really know like that? But you did it, and now you're suffering the consequences of it, of him being petty and being an annoyance and a nuisance to you. And then Simon saw Porsha as a means of elevating his status, and out of both of them, it seems to be working, because anytime Simon mentions Porsha's name, or Porsha in general or anything alluding to what's going on between them, it's on the blogs. It's on every blogs. It's all over Twitter. It's all over Instagram. And it legitimizes him because he keeps gaining more followers. He keeps gaining more traction to his page. It helps him out. So in the end, he succeeded in what he probably really wanted, was status to a certain extent. But I also think he thought that Porsha was going to help him, like in the immigration citizenship process. He probably thought, like, I'm with this famous person. They definitely have to give me citizenship. But I'm like, you're with a famous reality star, not like a lister celebrity. It's not like you was with Taylor Swift, Beyonce, I don't know who else, Miley Cyrus, Nicki Minaj. Like, you are with Porsha. And that's not to downgrade who Porsha is, because Porsha has done a lot for reality TV, but she doesn't have that much status where I think it would help you in the immigration process. But knowing Simon, he probably saw Porsha as that, because when it came out that he dumped Fallon pretty much because she didn't get on Atlanta, it's because he wants the fame, he wants the status, because it helps him in the long run with legitimizing who he is or who he's portraying to us to be. So again, the only people I feel bad for is them kids. But I'm tired of them. And I'm wondering if she really is going to be able to film in that house, and if he's going to really try to subpoena and stop her from filming. But hey, it is what it is. But when you play fraud games, you get fraud prizes. And both of them are giving fraud prizes. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and definitely hop down in the comments below and give me your thoughts. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.